Yes, afternoon, learners, wherever you are. Welcome to our English lesson today. As you can see from our first slide, we're going to deal with composition writing. It has been a while since we wrote composition, and therefore I thought it wise, or a proper sense of what is fitting for that matter, that we look at composition writing today. And maybe I want to bring to your attention that we'll be looking at accidents and specifically a fatal road accident. Maybe before we come to the real composition, that is the actual writing, I want us to first look at the vocabulary that is related to accidents. Yeah, we have what we call head-on collision. Can we repeat together? Head-on collision. So if one vehicle is coming from one direction and the other one is coming from a different direction, can you look at me? So if they hit each other head-on, that is called head-on collision. Yeah. Then we move on to the next one, stationary track. Aloud, please. Stationary track. Good. As you can see, the word stationary in this case is having an A and not an E. When I was dealing with homophones, I said that the word stationary means not in movement, transfixed. Yeah. So we are talking about a track that is not in movement. We move on to speeding matatu. It is also important, very vital, very imperative for my learners to know that we don't have any word like overspeeding. That word does not exist in the dictionary. If a vehicle, is moving very fast, we say speeding. So speeding matatu. Then we come slam into. So if one vehicle is just stationary, not in movement, and another one loses control, it is slams into. We say slamming into. Then we have developed a mechanical hitch. Why was the track stationary? Because it had developed a mechanical hitch. The engine had failed to ignite. You understand? So that is a mechanical hitch. Courtesy call. So when you get yourself in such a trouble, in such a problem, where the vehicle has developed a mechanical hitch and cannot ignite the engine, so you ask yourself, has the devil paid me a courtesy call? Yeah. So we move on to the next one. Horrifying screams rend the air. Horrifying screams, these are horrid screams. Screams that make instill fear in us. Yeah? Horrid screams rend the air. Then trapped accident victims. So the accident victims were trapped in a maggot wreck. A maggot wreck is a vehicle that is damaged beyond repair. Most importantly, we're supposed to know that people traveling by means of bus, matatus, etc., are called passengers. And those who are walking along the footpath are called pedestrians. So you must be in a position to draw a line. You must be in a position to differentiate between the two terms. So when you talk about a maggot wreck, MANGLED, wreck, WRECK, we are talking about a vehicle that has been involved in a car accident and damaged beyond repair. Yeah. Then we move on to bleeding profusely. So the accident victims who are trapped in the maggot wreck were bleeding profusely. Blood was oozing, O-O-Z-I-N-G, oozing from their body in the rate of a leaking pot. Then we have a crowd of curious onlookers. People who want to have a first-hand view of what is happening are called curious onlookers. Can we say curious onlookers? Curious onlookers. Very good. The next one is accident scene. Accident scene, look at scene, S-C-E-N-E. This is a place where the accident has happened. Manning, a roadblock. I'm sure you must have traveled Yeah. And along the way, you must have been stopped by the traffic officers who are who have mounted a roadblock. So we can say that the traffic officers were manning a roadblock. The next one is ambulance. Ambulance from St. John's Ambulance. Ambulance from Red Cross. Yeah. Ambulance from Haraka Hospital. Ambulance from Kikwetu Hospital. So ambulance from a certain hospital, a well-known hospital. Yeah. Then we have the siren. Ambulance siren. Yeah. Ambulance siren. Siren. Then we talk about the blaring. Can you say blaring of an ambulance siren? Blaring, yeah? Then the next one is high dependency and intensive care unit. This is where people who are critically injured, people or victims who have sustained serious injuries are taken. So we have high dependency and intensive care units. ICU. Did you understand that? We have other vocabulary like stretchers, we have bandages, we have the first aid kits. Yeah? So the list is very long. So we'll be looking at that even as we proceed. Now, after learning about the vocabulary, we come to our plan. As you can see, the first word there is in capital letters, plan. We have a table with 3 columns. The first column, characters. The second column, storyline. The third column, we have the order of events. Characters, these are the people who are involved in the composition. Myself, classmates, passengers, pedestrians, traffic officers or traffic police, doctors, casualties. Can we say casualties? Casualties, these are the victims. Then we have the driver, etc., etc. We also have onlookers. The list is long. We come to storyline. This is the theme. What are we going to write about? We're going to write about a fatal road carnage. A fatal road carnage. A deadly road accident. A deadly road accident can also be referred to as a fatal road carnage. Order of events. You left school in the evening, maybe. On your way home, you heard the screeching of brakes. Screeching of brakes. Then an accident occurs. Then we have rescue operations. We have treatment, and then you proceed home. So that is the order. Now, I took the bother to actually write a sample of the composition, and I want you to be very attentive as we read together so that at least you get to see how the vocabulary has been used, and eventually you write a composition of your own, and I'll be happy to look at it. Yeah? Are you attentive? Are we reading from the same script? I hope so. Let us read. Below is the beginning of a composition. Complete it using your own words, making it as interesting as you can. We were on our way home from school. You see, that is the rubric. That is the starting sentence. And I said you must read and understand the rubric before you start writing. So we can put a full stop there. Then we start another sentence. Yeah. Having attended to a hubbub of activities, that is a lot of activities at school, I was extremely exhausted. I was as tired as a boxer battered in a boxing ring. Yeah. Truth be told, if I were to be subjected to more work, I would drop dead. Yeah. That is called exaggeration. Yeah. I was as determined as a mule to reach my abode, to reach my home, and at least take a shower. It was my considered opinion that the shower would not only leave me as fresh as a daisy, but also as clean as a new pin. It was my considered opinion that the shower would not only leave me as cool as a cucumber, but also as lively as a cricket. You understand that? The use of similes. Now we move on. Barely had we walked 1 kilometer when we heard the screeching of brakes. Forgetting what curiosity did to the cat. That is to say, curiosity took the better side of us. Yeah? We moved closer to have a first-hand view of what had actually transpired. We moved closer to have a first-hand experience of what had actually happened. Transpired means happened, yeah? On arrival to the scene, let me be honest, I did not like what I saw. You understand that? Use simple English to drive a point home. On arrival to the scene, let me be honest, I did not like what I saw. I was shocked beyond words. I was in utter bewilderment. I was left with my mouth wide open, forming an O of Giotto that a housefly would get in and out with ease. You understand that? I know that's not the first time you're hearing about that expression because we have them in our composition books, and it is my apex hope that you're still reading those notes. Yeah? So let us move on. Broken glasses were scattered all over, and luggage was strewn by the side of the road, by the roadside. That, yeah. It was as clear as crystal that a matatu had had a head-on collision with a stationary truck. The story goes that the speeding matatu had slammed into the truck that was heading in the opposite direction, but developed a mechanical hitch. It seemed as if the devil had paid Kikwetu Highway a courtesy call. Horrifying screams rent the entire scene as victims trapped in the Margot dread fought for their lives. Oh my goodness, goodness gracious, alas and alack. The place smelled of blood and the victims were bleeding profusely in the rate of a leaking pot. At that juncture, can you say, at that juncture? At that juncture. At that juncture means at that very moment. At that very moment. I stood stock still, like a pillar of salt of the Mrs. Lot's variety. If you cannot remember this, you can also say, I stood stock still, like a person struck with an arrow at the back. Yeah? I stood stock still, and my muscles were protesting against movement. Are we together? Very good. In a complex web of confusion, like biblical Moses when he saw the burning bush, I did not know what to do. I was in a quagmire. I was in a complex web of confusion. I was between the devil and the blue seas. I was between a hard place and a rock. You understand that? I did not know what to do. We can say this, but it was for me to know and for me to find out. I became as motionless as a mass of cold porridge. By then, a curious crowd of onlookers had miled around the accident scene. Most of them were too terrified to offer a helping hand, especially women who were sobbing uncontrollably, holding their heads with their hands like a king whose subjects had been swept away by a mysterious plague. You understand that? Wow, let us proceed. Yes. It goes without saying that the darkest hour is nearest dawn, or so they say. Traffic officers who were manning a nearby roadblock arrived just in the nick of time. Let me say, just in the nick of time. Yes. And like angels summoned from heaven, they swung into action without dilly-dallying. They swung into action like oil pistons, wasting no time, faster than fast. You understand that? In due course, they were able to communicate with a nearby hospital. It was not long before we heard the siren of an ambulance blaring. On arrival at the agonizing scene, the scene was agonizing because the sight was not good to look at. Yeah? It was fast things fast. The accident victims were carried on stretchers to the ambulance. Soon, the ambulance sped off to Ponaharaka Level 5 Hospital. Casualties who had sustained serious injuries were admitted, some at the high dependency and intensive care units. The victims who had sustained minor injuries were attended by the paramedics. The paramedics are the doctors, yeah? And later discharged, yeah? Later discharged. Others with fractures were treated and discharged too, thanks to the good work of the doctors. Let's give them a clap. Very good. The driver and the conductor were still indisposed. The driver and the conductor were still half dead, half alive. That is unconscious. Can you say half dead, half alive? And therefore, the traffic police interrogated a few onlookers who had witnessed the fatal accident happen. The cause of the accident could not immediately be established. But rumor had it that the matatu driver had been speeding and lost control, ramming into the now damaged beyond repair truck. The traffic officers promised to leave no stone unturned in establishing the truth of the matter and ensure the culpable face the full force of the law. Ensure that these people who flouted rules face the full force of the law. Yeah? The traffic towed away the mangled wreck to the police station using a breakdown. They towed away the mangled wreck to the police station. It was such an awful scene that a boy or a girl of my age would not wish to witness again. Had the matatu driver been careful, the accident in question would have been averted. For sure, it would take the Indian Ocean to become a desert for me to forget this. For sure, the accident in question will remain engraved in my mind like writings on a granite wall until I join my ancestors in the world of no return. Number 3, it would take the Pacific Ocean to dry, or rather become a desert, for me to forget that accident. Yeah, we come to the end. You see, we have the clinchers. Clinchers are the ending conclusions. Of course, we learn. There is a moral lesson to learn. Had the matatu driver been careful, the accident in question would have been averted. We are calling upon drivers to be extra vigilant, to exercise standard care expected of other members of their profession in driving. Do not drink and drive. Yeah? You need to be overly cautious when driving so that you save lives. Yeah? So all these aspects should be incorporated as you're writing your composition. Otherwise, thank you very much. Thanks a bunch for listening to me. I hope you are going to go through this again. And then after reading mine, I expect you now to write down the vocabulary related to that, and then write a composition of your own. Use a very good handwriting, arrange your working paragraphs. Your composition must be lengthy. So you see, if you write a short composition, that only advertises how much you suffer from creativity marasmus. So we need to be very creative. Let us write a composition of a considerable length and ensure that we do what we call proofreading to eliminate tenses mistakes, spelling mistakes, etc., etc. Again, let me say thank you and wish you a fruitful afternoon. Bye. Thank you very much.